Beyond the Ring, Reclaiming Your Radiance After Divorce. Have you ever noticed how we talk about divorce, failed marriage, as if the relationship was a test you didn't study hard enough for? Or my personal favorite, broken home. Like your life is now some abandoned house with shattered windows and a caved in roof. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Kalea Johnson, a remarkable woman whose insights on post divorce renewal have transformed countless lives. Kalea isn't just a coach or speaker, she's a lighthouse for women navigating the stormy seas of marital dissolution. Her work has created a sanctuary where thousands of women have discovered that the end of a marriage can be the beginning of an extraordinary life. Through her unique blend of compassionate wisdom and practical strategies, she's revolutionizing how we think about life after divorce. The truth is, endings aren't failures, they're transitions, doorways. Sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is walk away from something that once felt like everything. When a marriage ends, society hands us this strange script. We're supposed to either fall apart completely or immediately transform into some fierce, independent phoenix rising from the ashes, preferably with perfect hair and a revenge body. There's very little room for the messy middle, for the quiet courage it takes to simply show up each day and rebuild yourself, one small choice at a time. But what if there's another way? What if the end of a marriage could be the beginning of the most authentic chapter of your life? Today, I want to explore what happens when we stop defining ourselves by what we've lost and start discovering who we might become. When we trade the narrative of failure for one of renewal, this isn't about bouncing back, it's about growing forward. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Maya, a Black professional who found herself suddenly single after years of building her identity around a relationship. She didn't just lose a partner, she lost her sense of self, her confidence, her vision for the future. Maya described that first year as walking through fog. She couldn't see far ahead, so she focused on what was directly in front of her, showing up, just showing up. When opportunities arose to manage social media for community events, she showed up. When local organizations needed project management help, she showed up. When collaborators needed support, she showed up. I had no grand plan, she told me. I just kept doing the next right thing, even when I didn't feel ready or worthy. This show up anyway philosophy became her lifeline. She wasn't trying to reinvent herself overnight. She was simply refusing to disappear. And something remarkable happened. The more consistently she showed up, the more visible she became. The more visible she became, the more opportunities found her. What started as background work evolved into collaborations, then leadership roles. Community partners began seeking her out specifically. Her reliability became her reputation, her consistency became her comeback. Maya's story illustrates our first powerful truth. Showing up consistently rebuilds confidence and creates opportunity. Not showing up perfectly, just showing up faithfully, even at 1% better than yesterday. Consistency compounds. It's the quiet force that transforms invisibility into influence. But showing up isn't just about professional reinvention, it's about reclaiming your narrative, deciding who you are beyond your marital status. This brings me to another remarkable woman whose story Kalea shared with me. At just 16, she got her first 9 to 5 job. By 19, while working at Walmart, she launched a wellness focused side business. This wasn't just about extra income, it was about creating something that was uniquely hers, something that reflected her values and vision. Years later, when her relationship ended, that business became more than a side hustle. It became her anchor, a tangible reminder that she had always been more than someone's partner. She had always been a creator, a healer, an entrepreneur. What's fascinating about her approach is that she never waited for perfect conditions. She started small, building discipline and routines that aligned with her brand while still maintaining her day job. She understood that entrepreneurship doesn't require an all or nothing leap. It can begin as a gentle expansion of who you already are. This brings us to our second truth. You can monetize your gifts while you heal. You don't have to choose between emotional recovery and financial empowerment. In fact, creating something aligned with your values can fund your independence and joy while giving your healing process purpose and direction. Your skills, your passions, your unique perspective, these aren't separate from your healing journey, they're essential to it. But reclaiming your narrative isn't just about what you do, it's about how you're seen by others and, more importantly, by yourself. Consider a third story Kalea shared about a woman who worked with a brand designer to launch a website that captured her essence as both a healer and educator. This wasn't merely about digital marketing, it was about codifying her identity, making visible the transformation she had undergone. The process began with a brand session deep work to ensure that her online presence authentically reflected who she had become. The resulting platform improved not just her discoverability and credibility, but her relationship with herself. Seeing her purpose and gifts articulated so clearly helped her internalize her value in a new way. This illustrates our third truth. External expression can deepen internal transformation. Sometimes we need to see ourselves reflected back in our work, our creative projects, our digital presence to fully embrace who we're becoming. Now, these stories might sound exceptional. You might be thinking, well, good for them, but my situation is different. I hear you. Every divorce, every ending carries its own particular pain. Your journey will not look exactly like anyone else's, but there are patterns in renewal that transcend individual circumstances. There are practices that create the conditions for rebirth, regardless of how your marriage ended or what resources you have access to. I'd like to offer what I call the renewal plan. Three pillars for reclaiming your narrative after divorce. The first pillar is healing practices. This includes both healing in silence and healing out loud. Healing in silence might look like journaling for 20 minutes daily about what you're releasing and who you're becoming. It's creating space to hear your own voice again, to distinguish your desires from the expectations that have accumulated around you. Healing out loud involves sharing your insights and boundaries with trusted friends or a therapist. It's breaking the isolation that so often accompanies divorce by allowing yourself to be witness in your transformation. Both forms of healing are necessary. Silence gives you clarity. Speaking gives you community. The second pillar is skill building. This isn't about frantically acquiring new credentials to prove your worth. It's about reconnecting with the abilities that bring you joy and confidence. Maybe you were a photographer before you got married. Perhaps you've always had a gift for teaching or writing or organizing spaces. These talents didn't disappear when your marriage ended. They've been waiting for you to reclaim them. Identify one skill you'd like to strengthen or recover and commit to 15 minutes of practice daily. Small, consistent investments yield profound returns. The third pillar is service. Finding ways to contribute your gifts, even in small doses, creates meaning beyond your personal pain. This doesn't mean losing yourself in other people's needs. You've likely done enough of that. It means discovering how your unique perspective and abilities might benefit others while simultaneously rebuilding your sense of agency and purpose. When you serve from a place of authenticity rather than obligation, something shifts. You move from seeing yourself as someone who needs to be fixed to someone who has something valuable to offer. That shift is transformative. Together, these three pillars, healing, skill building, and service, create a foundation for renewal that isn't dependent on your ex, your financial situation, or how amicable your divorce was. They put the power of reinvention firmly in your hands. I challenge you to put these principles into practice with a 7-day renewal challenge. For days 1 and 2, heal in silence. Journal for 20 minutes each day, exploring what you're releasing and who you're becoming. For days 3 and 4, heal out loud. Share one insight or boundary with a trusted friend or therapist. On day 5, be bold but patient. Apply for one opportunity or pitch one collaboration that excites you. On day 6, serve with a new attitude. Volunteer your skills for 1 hour in a way that feels energizing rather than depleting. And on day 7, love on yourself. Schedule a solo date and set one financial or skills based goal for the next 30 days. This challenge isn't about dramatic transformation, it's about gentle, consistent movement toward the woman you're becoming. Because here's what I've learned from Kalea and the women whose stories she's shared: the most powerful renewal happens not in grand gestures, but in daily choices to honor your worth, invest in your growth, and show up as authentically as possible. I want you to hear me clearly. Your divorce is not the period at the end of your story. It's the semicolon that introduces your most authentic chapter. The world is waiting for the woman who emerges from this crucible, not despite your scars, but because of how they've transformed you. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to place your hand on your heart and say these words: This ending has revealed my beginning. I am not broken. I am breaking open into who I was always meant to be. Now go, take that first small step, journal for 20 minutes, call that friend, apply for that opportunity, volunteer that skill, schedule that solo date. The woman you're becoming is counting on the woman you are today to be brave enough to begin. Your radiance was never in the ring. It was always in you, waiting for the space to shine. And now nothing stands between you and the light you were born to bring into this world. The time for hiding is over. The time for renewal is now. Rise, radiant one. We need your light.